In this video, I'd like to talk about vulnerability reports with MongoDB. At MongoDB, we take the security of our database very seriously. A part of our mission to keep MongoDB secure includes vulnerability reporting from our users. If you believe you have discovered a vulnerability in MongoDB or have experienced a security incident related to MongoDB, please report the issue to aid in its resolution. We've tried to make reporting a vulnerability as easy as possible. There are two ways to report a potential MongoDB vulnerability. The first way, which is the recommended notification method, is to submit a ticket to the security project on our Jira. The second way is to simply just send an email to security@mongodb.com. If you'd like to encrypt your message, you can use our PGP public key encryption, which will be linked below the video. All vulnerability reports will be responded to within 48 hours. In order to best serve MongoDB's security team and our developers, all vulnerability reports should contain as much information as possible. And in particular, these following items are highly recommended. Of course, you're going to want to include the name of the product that you've identified a potential issue with. And then next, you can include any common vulnerability information. If there's a CVSS score, which, if you're not familiar with, is a score from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, that rates the severity of a vulnerability. If the vulnerability is a publicly or commonly known type of vulnerability, then please also include the CVE, the Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures identifier. And of course, if you're open to be contacted by MongoDB security staff, please include any necessary contact information. If needed, MongoDB representatives will set up a conference call to exchange information regarding the vulnerability. I would like to point out that MongoDB takes all of our vulnerability reports very seriously. We validate all submitted vulnerabilities and will use Jira to track all communications regarding a vulnerability, including requests for clarification or additional information. Finally, we ask that if you find a potential security vulnerability, that you do not publicly disclose any information regarding the vulnerability or exploit the issue. This will give us the opportunity to analyze the vulnerability, to respond to the notification, and to notify key users, customers, and partners. The amount of time required to validate a reported vulnerability depends on the complexity and the severity of the issue. We take all vulnerabilities very seriously, and we will always ensure that there's a clear and open channel of communication with the reporter. After validating an issue, MongoDB will coordinate a public disclosure of the issue with the reporter in a mutually agreed timeframe and format. If required or requested, the reporter of a vulnerability will receive credit in the published security bulletin.